won't suffer, be broken.
All right, I think everybody can tell from the music, if anybody's a 30 Seconds to Mars fan, tonight's victim, Jared Leto. We think he fits right into the model of movie killers. I'm going to keep this going a little bit and just kind of turn it down because now I have the technology to do that. So this is episode 4 that we're rolling into. We added a little bit more technology to the game. We're going to figure out how to use it. So it should be fun. If we make a couple mistakes, you're just going to have to live with it. So as we were looking for the next candidate, again, I have Mark with me tonight. And we ran through a bunch of criteria. I'm going to do a quick summary of the previous episodes. First episode, Ben Affleck. If you haven't listened, it's worth a listen. Episode 2, Channing Tatum makes a living out of looking good in bad movies. Kristen Stewart.
Don't leave me. I wish to masturbate.
You know who I'm talking about. That's her best line of any movie she's been in. And tonight we roll into Jared Leto. And we're going to pick it up from there. So let me introduce Mark and he can speak for himself.
Hey, everyone. Nice to be back. So when we were trying to identify the next victim of our bad actor economy, when you mentioned Jared, I actually had mixed feelings, only because he goes way back in terms of his body of work, early 90s, right? And then some of the movies he's had along the way throughout his career. When I'm watching him back then, I'm not worried about, and I'm not thinking about the finances. Like, I'm just trying to enjoy the movie. And I know we're going to run through the numbers, but the one movie that stuck out that everybody was clamoring about was Morbius, because they billed it as the first vampire superhero film, which it actually wasn't, right? Blade was. The Blade series. So I actually thought he did an okay job there. But overall, he's a great actor. There's no knocking his acting chops at all. His range is outstanding. And then to find out, and if you actually do the research on his box office, I was pretty shocked that some of his films actually don't do the numbers, which is why he's our focus tonight.
So from what we've been able to pull, and you guys know if you've listened to the previous episodes, we're very data driven as we start. So Jared Leto, look, I think he's a great actor, right? If you guys saw Dallas Buyers Club, he is awesome, right? He won the Oscar. Matthew McConaughey, who's also great, also won an Oscar for that movie. But I would say that's definitely his best role. But what's crazy is, and I didn't put it together until I started watching, Fight Club, you guys heard me talk about it. David Fincher, I love Fight Club. I think Fight Club's a great movie. He's the blonde pretty boy that, Ed Norton's like, I just wanted to destroy something beautiful.
Right.
He doesn't even look like the same person. Right. And then you put him in House of Gucci and, let's, here we go.
Never confuse shit with chocolato. They may look the same, but the taste, very different. Trust me. I know.
Right? Like, it doesn't even sound like Jared Leto. It's so good. But then you look at the numbers and you're like, what the hell is this guy doing? And I think it goes back to the other episodes that we talked about where certain people just have certain roles in Hollywood and they need to learn to stay about it. Mark and I were talking about this earlier today. There's so few actors that can carry a movie that when you start looking around, the list gets smaller and smaller. And I think when we looked at this and we're like, okay, Jared Leto is the leading man. You got Tron Ares, you got Morbius, Mr. Nobody, Chapter 27, Alexander. Critical failure, loss, significant loss. But then you put him in the movies where he's supporting, like Dallas Buyers Club, Requiem for a Dream, Fight Club, Urban Legend, Blade Runner 2049, The Little Things. I mean, he's downright creepy and scary in The Little Things. If you guys have ever watched it, he plays alongside Denzel. They don't really make money, but he's so good from an acting perspective. So it goes back to our criteria. You base this on ROI, you got yourself a significant movie killer. But then when you put him on the Ben Hedda meter, he's got to jump up somewhere near the top.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's just good.
Yeah, and that's what's very, very interesting about Jared, amongst other things, right? He's got a ton of fans, right? Beyond the big screen, beyond the small screen, he's had his band out since I think the late 90s. And I looked it up. His band sold over 15 million records worldwide since the beginning. Right. So you got to think this guy has a ton of fans that are going to want to watch his movies just based on his band alone. But when you look at the numbers, and I don't know if you can even project these numbers to the audience, it's kind of mind blowing that a guy of his talent, right, his acting ability and his range and like all the different roles he's played over his entire career, that the ones that have made the most money, he's basically a supporting actor in those films. And then when you subtract those films out of his entire resume, you're just looking at, I'm looking at the list here. It's a loss, break even, loss. Like most of his films where he's the leading role, it's either break even or it's a loss, which is insane, right? Like you would think all the 32nd to Mars island goers would just flock to go see his movie, but they don't.
You want to hear what he has to say about that?
Yes, it is a cult.
Did you hear it? You want me to play it again? Here, I'll play it again.
Yes, it is a cult.
Yeah, and I wonder if that has a lot to do with some of the recent performances of his movies, because he took a hit. And this, look, we're not here to bash the guy, and we're not making this up because this is old news. Like 3 years ago, he was called out for his impropriety with women, like younger women, women that were not even of age. So that had to have hurt his brand 3 years ago. And it makes you wonder why some of these bigger, and this is like Disney we're talking about. We're not talking about an indie studio. You're talking about Disney with a Tron movie, which flopped tremendously. It just makes you wonder, right? This guy has he's got the looks. He can act his ass off. He's got star power. But
maybe he's like I always forget his name because it's forgettable, but he's pretty good. What's the kid who played Flash?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He's got he's got a kind of like a weird name too.
Yeah, we'll pull his name up in a second. But maybe he's like the Flash kid. Like he's Flash. He's pretty good. He's made, arguably, if you compare him to the other DC characters that are out there, he's holding his own. He's doing fine. Like in the Dawn of Justice, when my buddy Ben Affleck. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pronounced Julie.
Oh boy.
Julie, by the way.
Oh boy.
Pronounced Julie. It rhymes with really.
Mr. Julie. Like, and he's in Dawn of Justice. He comes in and he meets Ben Affleck. Like, that's a great scene where he throws the bat star and he's on the Flash and he catches it. But he's a nut job. But he does pretty good in the movie. So maybe they're willing to overlook that Jared Leto is completely insane. And we'll talk a little bit about the rumors of his shenanigans on set when he's in the movies with Margot Robbie and everybody else. But I don't know, maybe they're willing to overlook it in Hollywood. I mean, look at Harvey Weinstein. That guy was around for how many years, and people just overlook the criminality of everything that he was doing.
Yeah. So I think the mystery is, you have a tremendous amount of success. This guy's had a following since the early 90s. He's got his cult. They actually have a name for the fan base for the cult. They're called the Echelon. I had to look it up. They're actually called the Echelon. But again, we'll talk about that more later. But so again, great actor, great history. He's a rock star, but he can't sell movie tickets. That to me is just a mystery. And I wonder if his brand got hurt over, recent years, because of those allegations.
Plus, they said his method acting gets a little out of control.
Yeah.
I was reading the one article where when he was doing Blade Runner, if you guys saw Blade Runner 2049, he's blind as a character. But they said in the morning, he would put the contacts in. He couldn't see. He would wander around on set. People had to lead him around. He stayed that way till the end of shooting. At the end of the day, depending on no matter how many scenes he had to shoot, he was blind for the day. Now, I can imagine if you're Harrison Ford, one of the greatest actors of our day with all the credentials that he has under his belt, watching Jared Leto wander around as a blind guy where they have to literally put him in a wheelchair to wheel him to the cafeteria so he could eat. You got to be like, do I really want to deal with this guy?
Yeah, he pulled the same thing in Morbius. Remember when he played the doctor or scientist where he had to walk around in crutches? So he literally went to bathroom in crutches. I mean, they weren't even filming, and he was still kind of in character, which I get it. You know, he's not the only character to stay in character when the camera's not rolling. But I can imagine on a big budget production that would probably get old real quick. But I wanted to stay in line with the numbers for him as of late. So Tron, significant loss. So for those that don't know, the estimated budget was 180 and it grossed 142 globally. You want to hear the sad part about that? 142 worldwide. Domestically, it only grossed 73 million. That is pathetic, right? For some, for a story like Tron. And here's a comparison. And we're just talking about Tron. It's just a small sample size. But again, this is, this came out last year, right? 2025.
2025, earlier this year.
So for comparison, Tron Legacy, which came out in 2010, who starred Jeff Bridges, Olivia Wilde, and Garrett Hedlund. Who the hell? I mean, no one even knows who that guy is.
Yeah, he's had some different roles.
Right. So he was actually in Four Brothers. He was in Troy. So not huge parts. He was definitely not the lead guy, but in this one he was. That film, in comparison, grossed 410 million against relatively the same budget, 170 million. So that's like the same movie, right? Different set of characters. One did 410 worldwide, and the other one did 142. So
and Tron has that cult following.
It does,
almost like Twilight and Harry Potter and the different components that are out there. I grew up on Tron. I got Tron on VHS, where you could only buy it at Disney. It wasn't sold anywhere else. And I came home and I popped it into my VHS.
Yeah,
and I watched that thing till it fell apart. So when Tron Legacy came out, I was excited. The whole world was excited. They all went and saw it. So it drove up that box office. But then Ares, I think, either came out a little too soon and the movie was a little disappointing. I think there was a lot of stretches on how they did things. There weren't a lot of ties or closure from Ares, from Legacy that went into Ares. And then you got Jared Leto coming in, who I think overall did a pretty good job, but maybe it's just the combination of writing and everything else that went along with it. But he's just not a leading man according to.
But here's the thing, too.
Numbers only.
He wasn't just one of the leads; he was also one of the producers of Tron Ares. That's something I discovered pretty recently. So I was like, oh, okay. Like, he was also a producer. I don't know. It's just, to me, that's kind of an eye opener because it's basically the same film. It's just a different ensemble, but the numbers were drastically different.
The other thing that's pretty interesting when you start looking at the numbers, and we're going to stay with the numbers for a little bit, coming out later this year, meaning 2026, they're going to release another version of Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, we had a debate about this because who played He-Man? Remember, I thought it was Mark Singer forever, and it was Dolph.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren played the original He-Man in the movies.
Yeah,
he was ripped up, but now they're casting this guy, Nicholas Galitzine. I don't know. I'm sure all the young viewers or listeners out there are rolling over the fact that I don't know who this guy is, but he's been in a lot of bad movies. And then I'm like, all right, let's go look at the casting director and find out who's ruining this thing.
Uh-huh.
But the woman who's the casting director, her name is Denise Chamain. Again, guys, I'm sorry if you've been listening, and this is episode 4. I have a tendency to butcher names, but let's just call her Denise. Denise so far has been the casting director for 169 movies. So she is not new to this game. And you look at it, and she's coming back, and she's got, Top Gun Maverick, Uncharted, Tom Holland, and Mark Wahlberg. The Little Things, which has Jared Leto. But now she put Jared Leto back into this as Skeletor. She's got a guy that nobody under 25 has ever heard of as the leading man, who's He-Man. But He-Man goes back to the 80s. So you're trying to appeal to a younger audience that has no idea anything of the history of He-Man by putting this young character in. And I've been trying to come up with a bet for Mark. And here's my bet.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to wait till the end of 2026. So hopefully this podcast lasts this long. Here's my thought.
All right.
If you go to the website, and I don't mean Mark, I mean everybody. I'm opening it up to everybody. And you put $5 in, you could go to the Patreon. We'll figure it out. I'll create a new thing on Patreon, the $5 He-Man bet. If I win and this thing is a loss, I keep your $5. If you win, anybody who opts in on the bet, I'll send you a Movie Killer t-shirt. It's a $5 t-shirt. Mark knows I ordered one today. I went way overboard. I went a little crazy. It's a $40 t-shirt. I'll send it to you for $5.
Okay, so
but it has to be a loss, which is going to be.
Okay, and then you got to tell the audience that the estimated budget is the $170 million, right? For
$170 million budget they're estimating for this thing while they're shooting it. There's no way $170 million.
Yeah, I mean, Masters of the Universe. I mean, I watched that growing up, so I feel just by default, the number of folks that grew up, on this stuff like He-Man, Transformers, that basically in the 80s. I just think by default they're going to go see it. That's why I think
Jared Leto, if you consider Skeletor a lead, maybe not supporting. The numbers, guys, take the bet. The numbers are saying as a supporting character, he does pretty good. But the numbers also say out of 30 movies, I think 4 made money. Right? Let's take a look. Suicide Squad, ensemble cast. He doesn't count. He had a cameo role as the Joker. Dallas Buyers Club, great movie. That's 1.
Mm-hmm.
Panic Room, he was a minor character. David Fincher, again, his name keeps coming up. Panic Room had so far as 2 of our list for movie killers. So Kristen Stewart was in it too. And Urban Legend. That's it. 3 out of 39. So I think the odds are in my favor.
Yeah.
But the bet's out there. If you want it, I'll create it tonight or tomorrow. You drop your $5 in. Worst case, you get a pretty cool shirt. Best case, I walk away with, I don't know, like $300,000. That's what I'm expecting from the bet.
I mean, I think that's one of those bets that can go either way. Because 170, even though that's a big number, I just think Masters of the Universe, just He-Man, has a enormous following, even stateside. Like if you were, maybe you take that, are you going like worldwide gross sales versus domestic?
Yeah. And guys, just to think, so I'll keep it consistent. I'm going to go on Gemini and I'm going to say, show me, we'll wait 1 month. I don't know how long. We'll wait 1 month after opening, or we'll wait until it goes on pay-per-view. I don't know. We'll figure that out. I'll put it in the numbers. I can't wait a year and say, okay, this movie made money in a year. We'll give it a time. But let's say Avatar opening weekend box office. Avatar Fire and Ash opened to 88 million opening weekend box office. I don't see He-Man having any kind of weekend like that. But if you place the bet, 2 weeks, you got your money, you got yourself a nice shirt for $5. But that's Avatar Fire and Ash, 88 million. I would say He-Man, maybe 12 million.
Opening weekend?
Yeah.
I think I might go a little higher.
Dude, for everybody in my audience, who the hell is Nicholas Galitzine? Because he sure ain't He-Man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So you got Nicholas Galitzine that nobody knows who it is, and you got Jared Leto, movie killer, and you got a woman who does a casting director for 169 movies, maybe 10 of which are pretty decent. I don't know. Place the bet. What do you got to lose?
Yeah, and then if you look at the rest of the list, right? So we talked about Tron, significant loss. You talked about Morbius, $83 million budget, 167 global. It was considered a slight loss because they don't talk about the marketing dollars here, which I think you've alluded to in the previous episodes. House of Gucci, $75 million to make, 153 on the gross, considered break even. And these
Yeah.
aren't numbers that we made up. These are numbers that anyone can pull online. Little Things, loss, Blade Runner. Wow, I'm surprised that this was a loss
Blade
because
Runner was more of a cult following classic. It did not do well in the box office. It did really well once it came out of the box office.
yeah, but I feel like Masters of the Universe might mirror the performance of a Blade Runner. Because look, you got Blade Runner, their budget was 150 and it grossed 259. Still considered a loss due to the marketing and et cetera, et cetera.
You don't think they're going to market the shit out of He-Man?
I think they're going to market the shit out of He-Man. So if you're talking about a $170 million budget, it's probably going to be at least $100 million in marketing.
Yeah.
Right.
Call it 350 total. Marketing, promotion, budget, everything. It's got to make 350 million.
Yeah, to break even.
Yeah. In Jared Leto's career, he had one movie that made over 200 million, and it was Suicide Squad. You got Will Smith, you got John Cena, you got Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
You got all these crazy people in there. It wasn't Jared Leto as this cameo Joker.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the movies and I'm struggling because I'm like, other than, oh man.
Here, let me give you this. It'll give you time to think. Here you go.
I love this guy. He's so intense.
Did that convince you? Did that convince you that this guy here's it with the money?
Oh, come to daddy.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what you're betting against right there. Come to daddy.
Yeah, you might be right, actually. Because I mean, when you add those numbers with marketing dollars, I mean, you're north of 300 million. It's got to make worldwide.
Yeah, I just.
But you know what I think too, also, is part of the problem and what their challenge is going to be. Like, I think the general public, they're just exhausted with these cartoon to movie. Like it doesn't end anymore.
You don't think Disney going back and taking every cartoon they ever did and making it into a live action is just tired? Of course it is. Like, to your point, that's a fantastic point. People are just tired of it.
Yeah.
But you know what? You market to kids, and the kids drag their parents. Parents don't have anything else to do, so they think their kids in the movie on a rainy day. Kids' movies make money.
Well, they make money, and a lot of the money is made through merchandising, and I think that's where I'm assuming that's got to be a huge revenue stream for any of these movies. But at least they have that. I mean, some of these other movies like House of Gucci, what are you selling? Like, I get Gucci sells like product, but Gucci, I don't think Gucci profits off that.
All right, so let's go back to the criteria that we've been kind of trying to iron out over the last couple episodes. So you got ROI, Jared Leto. ROI is not it, right? He's not making money. His movies lose money. If he's the leading man, specifically, they lose money. If he's a supporting cast or a supporting role, he does really well, but that depends on who else is in the movie and whether or not it's going to do well. Then you have chemistry with your actor partner. Honestly, in Dallas Buyers Club, the chemistry between him and Matthew McConaughey was fantastic. Like, it was great.
Man, it was uncomfortable, which made it great.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, for those that didn't watch the movie, it was Jared played a trans woman and Matthew was Matthew, right? Texas guy and homophobic, right? Could say that. And you saw that tension in almost like every scene. But they were still, they had to be drawn to each other because of, the kind of the business arrangement that they had. I mean, they both won Oscars from it. So it was solid from a acting perspective.
But you have The Little Things with Denzel, great chemistry. You have Suicide Squad, I guess. I mean, he had such a small role in it, I guess, with him and Margot Robbie, maybe.
Yeah.
Chapter 27, he plays Mark David Chapman. He plays the guy who kills John Lennon. He's good in that. He's the lead for the most part, so it's a little slow. It's a little dry, but you could sit through it. Lord of War, he's with Nicolas Cage. Great chemistry as the brother. Like, you feel the relationship that those guys have. Requiem for a Dream, Jennifer Connelly, awesome.
Made zero money.
Yeah, made no money. It was almost like an indie film, like what we talked about with Kristen Stewart, right? It was a very niche indie film when it came out, like a Sundance.
Yeah, this shocked me. I mean, it's critically acclaimed, but grossed $7.4 million. I wonder what his salary was on that.
Yeah, I don't know. We'd have to look that up, but I would say probably $100 of that was mine, because I think I saw that 2 or 3 times in the theater, and it was great. Like, I loved it. So, you're welcome, Jared, contributing to your future.
Yeah.
But, so chemistry, good. We'll give him a high ranking on the chemistry with his counterparts, with his partners. The other piece, I'm not sure how to fit into this, and maybe it's secondary income or something. Like, we'll have to come up with a cool name for that, like the Ben Hedometer. But Kristen Stewart, we spoke about, where she had her dollars that came out from the different movies and what she was able to put together, which gave her a cushion. If you start reading about Jared Leto, he is a super savvy
businessman,
very well-placed investor.
Yeah.
So he does a lot of angel investing. This you may know or you may not know, but you can look it up. But he's one of the original investors in Uber. He's one of the original investors in Robinhood. But he has been an angel investor in like 40 plus companies. And he's done very, very well. His net worth, I think, is somewhere in the neighborhood of about 70 million. But if you look at his acting and the outcome that comes from his acting, I mean, he gets paid okay, but the guy knows how to invest his money. And then you got 30 Seconds to Mars, which does well with the touring. And he admits, like, we make our money from touring. He's not afraid to go out and tour. So he's got multiple income streams coming in other than just acting. So he parlays everything that he's doing into these other opportunities, which gives him the ability to go in and say, sure, throw me in a Skeletor. What do I got to lose, right? Because he's got this nice cushion at home that he doesn't have to worry about. And I think his ego, if you ever listen to him talk, I think his ego carries him. When you talk about his fans.
Yes, it is a cult.
Right? Like, he'll flat out tell you, like, my fans are a cult, the echelon. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to start calling all you guys the echelon.
The echelon. The fan base, the echelon.
You guys are now my echelon.
Yeah, I just, according to Google, his net worth is 90 million. I thought it'd be more because he was an angel investor in those, companies you mentioned. He's got stake in Reddit. Also, did not know that, which is interesting. So he's pretty well rounded in terms of what he's investing or invested in the past, and especially on the tech side, which is, good for him. But at the end of the day, when he makes movies and he's part of these big budget films, if he's the lead role, it usually doesn't pan out in terms of ROI, which is, to me, it's still mind-boggling because of his fan base. He's a great actor and he's been around a long time and he still looks young, right? He's 54-ish, 55, and he looks like he's in his 30s.
Yeah.
They showed in this one award, I think it was the Oscars, when they showed his mom. His mom is, also like looks great for her age, but I think that's what helps carry the, it carries his appeal, but not enough for people to watch his movies at the box office. That's what's crazy, right? Like, Leonardo DiCaprio is probably the only one, right, that still has the looks, charisma, acting chops, and he's bankable as hell. Mostly, we're gonna have to look that up, but he's pretty bankable. But if you compare the two, acting, they're all, they're both good.
A little bit of a man crush on Jared.
No, I'm just saying, you compare him to some of his contemporaries that are same age, they don't look as fit and as youthful as he does. So I'm thinking he would carry the folks in his demographics and also some of the younger crowd. But I don't know, maybe those allegations hurt his brand in the last 3 years. That's the only thing I could think of.
Well, let me look it up because I had this before and I got to find it. But if you guys look at his list of girlfriends, and I'm going to need Mark to talk for a minute while I look this up, but his list of girlfriends is friggin' impressive, right? Plus, one of the things that, him and I have in common is our taste in women. But, he dated Lindsay Lohan. He dated Katy Perry. He dated Halsey. He dated Paris Hilton, like in her prime, not Paris Hilton now. But if you, Scarlett Johansson, Cameron Diaz, Soleil Moon Frye, Punky Brewster, like he dated her for a little while. Ashley Olsen. His list, to your point, he's a good-looking guy. He's
but I mean,
Hollywood.
I'm not surprised, right? You're basically an A-lister at the time. I don't know. Would you consider him an A-lister? I think I would.
Yeah, he's Oscar winner. He's definitely.
So he's an A-lister actor who's got, close to probably 30 plus years of acting history. I'm not surprised that he's had that run of girlfriends.
Dude, guitar player in a crazy successful band with 30 Seconds to Mars. Like, when he goes out and, he does his thing. I mean, look, you get this guy, I'm going to turn it down a little bit so you guys can hear it, but you get this guy coming up on stage. He's walking out with his long hair, and according to Mark, like his old, sexy body as he's walking out there. Like,
he's basically a vampire.
Yeah. Like, we're on camera. You guys can't see us, but you can see Mark getting excited when he starts talking about Jared. Like, now he's out on stage and he's singing, and you got Valerie Kaufman. Guys, if you don't know who Valerie Kaufman is, look her up. She is a Russian supermodel sitting in the front row staring at this guy.
Dude, and he's
a movie killer, but I'd switch places with him.
He takes it a step further with his cult following, right? He has that Mars Island off of Croatia somewhere where he but he charges fans to spend a couple days there or a few days there. And that's where he kind of gets that whole creepy factor comes into play. But when he's there, right, he's in his white garb. He's got his beard going, long locks. He looks like
a little bit of a Jesus syndrome.
Yeah, he looks like Jesus, the Messiah, man, walking around in his white garb and stuff. And yet he does all this and he can't sell tickets. That's why, to me, I'm like, what am I missing?
Casting, right? He goes in, he charms the casting directors, he charms the directors. He's like, guys, I've been growing up. And he said this in his interview. He grew up on Tron. He is a Tron guy just like me. As a kid, he lived on it. He grew up on it, loves Tron. Goes in, starts talking passionate about what he does. He puts the voodoo on the director and the casting director and says, I got this. I can carry this. And then Disney invests even with all his shenanigans and everything else.
Yeah.
And, it crushes the box office with a significant loss.
Yeah. Disney has been, I think in the past, they would scrutinize the hell out of the way they cast roles, but it seems like they've let that slip. They've let that go a little bit.
Well, they did the same thing with Snow White. Right.
Oh,
I can't remember her name, but she blew that thing up before it even started with her craziness.
Train wreck. Absolute train wreck. And she was like nobody. She thought she was bigger than what she actually was because no one's ever heard of her outside of, the 15 people.
Cast her as the female lead in He-Man with this other guy that nobody ever heard of.
Yeah.
Make a lot of money off of. But so I'm going to roll into the next segment here that we've been talking about. I've been keeping Mark in suspense all day. But this is a good segue of when we're talking about Jared Leto with his ability to charm versus just focusing on the numbers. And, if you guys know, this is what we focus on. We focus on the numbers and what constitutes a movie killer. And don't let the charisma and the charm and the good looks and the lead guitar player come in and say, I got this movie, I can carry it. Because the numbers say otherwise. And he's got a lot of history, like Mark mentioned. He's been around a long time. So he has enough of a baseline, enough of a trend to say, sorry, Jared, the numbers are saying you're not the guy. So we're going to go in a different direction and we're going to bring in, I don't know, Timothée Chalamet as Tron, right? Maybe that's a better position, and we didn't know what to call it. So I'm going to call it Movie Ball, right? So if you guys saw Moneyball.
That's so original.
Movie Ball. It's witty and original. That's all I got. I got nothing else I don't have. So we're going to go with Movie Ball and we're going to say you base the making of your movie off numbers only. Why'd we pick him? Point the finger at Jonah Hill because he gets on base. So what we're going to do is we're going to say we're going to base this off the numbers. And I've been saying this for a while. I'm going to start my all-star team. And Mark's going to debate because he's been waiting all day to hear this story.
In suspense.
Here's my all-star team. Now, this is like all-star team. Like if you went out and you were going to make a movie, this is how I would approach it. And I am guaranteeing you, like the T-shirt, I'm guaranteeing you this is a no-lose. I will make money. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to need Mark to pull something up for me because I forgot to have the list. So my executive producer that I'm going to start with the producer, Jason Blum. If you guys don't know who Jason Blum is, he runs Blumhouse Productions. So Mark, pull up a list in Gemini or Google of the list of all movies created by Blumhouse Productions, and you're going to be shocked at the movies that this guy has done.
Let's see.
Blumhouse Productions, all the Paranormal Activity movies, Conjuring, Insidious, Purge, all the Purge movies were done by this guy. So I'll let Mark keep pulling up the list. He averages his budget $10 million. That's the average budget of a Blumhouse production movie. The average return, 100 to 150 million.
Wow.
That's his average. Now, Mark, what other movies are on that list that I didn't mention?
He's got Megan on there. I don't know how that made money.
Yeah, Megan and 2.0, the two.
The Black Phone.
Yeah, Black Phone. They just made Black Phone 2, Ethan Hawke.
He did the Halloween 2018 and its sequels. Wow.
Focuses on horror, low budget, high return. Number one, Jason Blum. I'm going to go to Jason. I'm going to be like, buddy, you and I are going to do business. He's going to be like, hey, you're the movie killers guy. We definitely need to make a movie.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though, and this is pretty wildly known in the show business, like in Hollywood. Horror movies are generally low budget.
Yep.
So you basically are saying your all-star genre production, film production line is going to be basically horror movie genre based to make money.
Yes. And I'm going to get even more specific.
Okay.
So now my director, and I have a box office director and a streaming director. I have two because I'm going to make a box office movie and a streaming movie.
Mm-hmm.
My box office director, Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele focuses on low budget productions with high return.
I think this has, I think I kind of respect where you're going with this, but I think this is a testament on just being like generally cheap.
Yeah. I'm not going to win an Oscar. I want to make money.
Okay.
I'm going to go in low barrier to entry. Horror is the lowest, to your point.
Yes.
So I got Jason Blum, who specializes in small budgets, big return. I got Jordan Peele, who specializes in horror, thriller, and low budget, high return. And then I'm going to bring in my boy David Fincher as my streaming director, because he's taken his whole world and he's switching it over to streaming, focusing on subscriber acquisition and broadcast time. All right. Then I'm going to bring in my two ladies.
Well, before you continue, I want to give you your Jordan Peele
list. Hold the list up.
Yeah. So he owns a production company called Monkey Paw Productions.
Yes.
Here's his films. Get Out.
Yeah. Made a ton of dough.
Us.
Made a ton of dough.
Nope. Which was stupid, right? And you know it was stupid when an alien ship can eat everything, anything in this town, but chokes on a balloon. Like this alien ship. For those who didn't watch the movie, you know what? I'm going to spoil it for you. It was an alien ship that was flying around this town, eating everything, but choked on a balloon, like throwing down like houses and cars and barns, but he choked on a little balloon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care.
So
I don't care what the story's about.
Okay. More Keanu.
That was a bomb. That was terrible. That was when he was young and didn't know what he wanted to do. That's when he was still tied to Keenan Ivory Key or whatever his name.
Those were the ones I mentioned were directed and produced. So the ones that are just produced, I didn't know this. Candyman 2021, Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. Didn't see that.
Don't know what that is.
Wendell and Wild, animated horror comedy. Monkey Man 2024, action thriller.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See? So now I got Jordan Peele coming in. I take my two ladies from Twilight, which I'm going to need you to look up their names, Trisha Wood and whatever Aguilar, whatever her name is.
Hold on, dude.
Yeah.
I just discovered this. You know what your boy Jordan Peele is developing and it's upcoming? Remember the movie The People Under the Stairs? He's doing a remake of that. It was a Wes Craven flick.
Wes Craven, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so who do you want me to look up?
Look up the two women that were the casting directors for Twilight.
I don't know. It
was Trisha Wood, and I can't remember the other woman's name. But anyway, they are going to be my casting directors, and we're going to focus on a small ensemble of no-name actors. We're going to stick them in Blumhouse. We're going to stick them with Jordan Peele. And the other thing is, you guys will recognize this once I say it. These horror movies that have small budgets that do really well, they're in extremely isolated areas, right? So Black Phone is in a guy's basement. It all takes place in one house. You know, The Conjuring, Insidious, all that stuff is like a house. There's very little scene change. The Evil Dead movies take place in the cabin. The new Evil Dead and the one in the Rising takes place in an apartment. Like, there's so little scene changes that it keeps the budgets extremely, extremely low. Paranormal Activity took place in a house with a security cameras. Blair Witch, which they said the found footage is dead. Like, don't do anything found footage. But, you know, guys running around with video cameras. The biggest budget that he had was Purge, where they're running around the city, but there's only so many city scenes and it's all done at night. So they shoot a couple city scenes at night or in a house. It's very, you know, there's no special effects. There's no crazy CGI. There's no crazy anything. So I'm going to put like a house with 5 no-name people. We're going to run them around a little bit, maybe throw like a rabid monkey in the house, let the rabid monkey chase them around. Raccoon drops out of the ceiling, a lot of screaming. Boom.
You know what that sounds like to me?
Cujo
that sounds like a B movie from the start.
So what?
You're not trying to make like a huge theatrical release type movie. You're just in it for the ROI.
Yes. That's what I'm in it for. That's the point. ROI. I don't want to win an Oscar. I don't care about an Oscar.
Okay.
You're crazy. If you want to win an Oscar, you go hang out with Kristen Stewart.
No, I'm just thinking that genre, so all the horror movies that are out, like within the last 5 years, how many of those are really that original?
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh,
when that came out, the original one, that was original a little bit.
Okay.
I guess.
How about
Scream.
Sinners. Did you see that?
I did. Everybody loved Sinners. Everybody raved about Sinners. I thought Sinners was okay. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was okay.
Okay, fine. What was the best horror flick ever for you?
Evil Dead 2.
Wow.
Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness. They're funny. They're not really scary. They're kind of campy.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about scared the shit out of you.
Dude, I saw Halloween, the original John Carpenter Halloween, Michael Myers, when I was 10 years old. Me and my sister watched it. She thought it was funny. She's 8 years older than me. She's like, this is great. We're going to sit and watch Halloween on like Halloween. I lived in like a 2-story house. I wouldn't go upstairs by myself for like 4 years. I was a freshman in high school still saying, hey, can somebody go upstairs with me? That movie scared the shit out of me. So I would say like original scary movies, Halloween is my number one.
No, I'm with you on that. That was legit. And speaking of budget, that was shot on a shoestring budget.
Yeah.
For me, it had to be the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
that
like
whole
Freddy.
Time, like Friday the 13th, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. There was this whole couple of years where all those movies were like killing it. Literally, no pun intended. Right?
Yes. But those were, I mean, I don't know what those budgets were, but I mean, when Freddy Krueger came out, that it was in vogue to watch like a horror movie. For me, at least. I mean, everybody was like, oh, we got to go see it. I'm like, I'm not watching the sequels. That scared the shit out of me for years.
I'm not sleeping.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't go to bed.
Yeah, that was good. So that's
all right.
that's what I'm gonna
do. Your movie ball is basically genre based around horror.
High ROI.
Yeah.
Low cost casting, low cost scenery, low cost special effects, okay story, but you know all those stories, to your point, are primarily the same with a few exceptions when they came out. Like Scream was an original.
Yeah.
Halloween was the first like real slasher movie that had any kind of credibility. You know what I mean? So every once in a while, Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch Project, like they kind of changed the genre a little bit. I thought Evil Dead 2 was genius.
Yeah.
With Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, I thought it was absolute genius. But if I hit genius, great. But you've listed your movies there. Like, there's not a lot of originality in some of those. Like Purge, you throw a bunch of guys on the street and say, "Hey, at sundown, you can start killing people. There's no laws."
Yeah.
How much thought, like how much genius went into that?
Basically, Jordan Peele is following that blueprint.
Yeah.
All he's churning out now is, these horror flicks.
Yeah, funky horror movies. And Blumhouse is doing the same. If you look at his movies, he's following a template to go through and just pump these things out.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you the twist.
Uh-huh.
With AI, I don't have to care about the scenery. I can make this thing take place in space on a haunted planet. I can do whatever I want. Like Ghosts of Mars. If you ever saw Ghosts of Mars?
No.
Natasha Henstridge and Ice Cube. So Ice Cube's in it. He's a total badass.
Yeah, but it's like, to me, like if somebody's explaining the storyline, like Ghost in Mars, I'm like, hey, how does a ghost get to Mars?
You got to watch the movie. It's genius. But I can do that with AI. Like I can make all this stuff with AI. So a lot of these barriers to entry that were coming in, and like I'll give you the thing. So barriers to entry, horror is the lowest, documentary low, faith-based movies. You guys seen these? Like they all pray and they ride horses around. They're on a farm. They all fall in love. It's crazy. Low barrier to entry. Sci-fi action, super high barrier to entry.
Yeah, no kidding.
But now I can do sci-fi action with AI. I can make you look like Glenn Powell.
Yes. 100%.
Running through the streets. You say a couple witty things. That's right.
Yeah.
I am good, Rooster. Right? Like whatever you want. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Sci-fi horror, though, has, to your point, right? Like traditionally, that's big budget off the bat, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
AI's game changer. All right. Let's get you back focused. You're getting off subject. Let's go back to Jared Leto.
He's got so many things going for him in terms of fan base, notoriety, award winner, that you would think he would be in any movie. He would be part of that recipe for success, for ROI. And it only doesn't happen. It consistently does not happen when he's a lead role, which is, it's hard to fathom. And we did talk about the allegations, but those allegations were 3 years ago. I'm not saying people buried under the carpet, but does that have something? I mean, is that just kind of looming over his career now from here on out, that people are just not interested in supporting his films because he's Yeah,
I don't think so. Like to your point, Disney brought him in, cast him as Tron. I think if Disney had concerns about his reputation, maybe they would have done something. But
Greetings, program.
Right. I just had to throw that in there. It didn't offer anything to the conversation. I just clipped it and I was like, I'm not ending this thing without playing this.
That's my summary of why he's on the bad actor.
I think it's his
bad actor
reputation.
Economy. I think no, but the thing is, like, if you go back to the list, anything that predated essentially 2022, there's a lot here that were no profit, significant loss, break even, like everything before the little things, 2021. I mean, you look at the gross dollars for all those movies. It's
a loss.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
I don't have an answer for you. I think there's another thing that we need to add into is just like X factor that we just can't explain. Like they say certain stars have X factor quality that make them stars, charisma, charismatic. But I think Jared Leto has a lot of charisma. I think if you look at him. I was
going to say, yeah, well, like what quality does it that he, minus the shenanigans, what quality as an actor does he not have? Like he's played so many different roles over his career, and he's played them well. On the Ben Headometer, if we're talking about how many Ben heads, like in terms of acting chops, I give this guy like a 300.
I would give him maybe a 3 or 4. I would put him up above Kristen Stewart.
You gave Brad Pitt.
No, Brad Pitt's a 10.
I think you said 30 at one point.
I
or
did
20.
say 30.
You keep fluctuating with these Ben heads.
My meter's not that big. I'm running out of space.
What are you capping your Ben Head meter?
I'm going to cap the Ben Head at 10. I'm going to cap the Ben Head at 10.
This guy's a 10.
No, are you crazy?
You're saying Brad Pitt is a better actor than Jared Leto? No
Brad
way.
Pitt has better marketability
No.
than
The
Jared
Ben
Leto.
Hedometer was just acting, I thought. Just their ability to act.
Oh, I would give him, okay. If it's just acting,
Yes.
Dallas Buyers Club alone just moves him way up. House of Gucci,
Dude, yes.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give him, he's no Brad. Like, no, there's nobody out. Brad is like the cult leader, the king of.
Yeah, he's got the it factor for
Yeah.
sure. No matter what, you throw him in anything.
I give him like a 6 or 7. Is that fair?
In terms of acting, you're giving Jared a 6 or 7 and Brad a 10?
Yeah, Brad's a 10. You think he's as good as Brad Pitt?
I think as far as acting, yes, without a doubt. Where would you put? I'm going to jump.
Yeah.
Where would you put Leonardo DiCaprio on the Ben Hedometer?
Same as Jared Leto, but he has more marketability.
No,
I can't get away from the marketability of it.
Has Brad Pitt ever won an Oscar? I don't think so.
No, but Brad Pitt makes a ton of money. Kristen Stewart won an Oscar.
I think there's a separation. I thought the Ben Hedometer was just acting ability. I
don't know. We gotta
see
framework, man. This is much harder than it was originally proposed to be. You're making me think way too much on this stuff.
Because I think criteria base, it's not just a one and done number, right? Clearly. Like there's a lot of metrics. If you're talking about movie ball, you brought in all these different layers of how you would construct this massive ROI movie blueprint.
Yeah.
So if you're going to judge these actors against Ben Affleck, I would have to go with, I guess you're right. You acting, marketability, ROI. What else? I mean, is it the big 3? Because
I think acting with ROI, right? Those are the 2 big ones. I don't know, like marketability and ROI, I kind of put the same.
Okay, so if that's the case, if you're doing a number that's made up of 3, I would say he's probably and he's probably a 4 or 5.
All right, we'll give him a 4 because he's got no marketability. He's got no ROI, but he's a great actor.
That's what I mean. He does have marketability, no?
As a supporting actor, maybe.
Yeah.
Is his lane supporting actor? So maybe we put him and Channing Tatum as the 2 supporting actors. You got the serious straight guy who comes in, and then you got his, shithead sidekick, Channing Tatum. Mm-hmm. You put the 2 of them next to each other. Now you got to find your supporting guy. I mean, your lead guy.
Your lead guy.
Right. So maybe as a supporting guy, he's a top supporting guy. Like he's,
yeah, I would say he on that merit alone, he should get at least a head, like a 1 or 2 heads.
Right, so we'll go with 5. I'll put him right in the middle between Ben Affleck and Brad Pitt.
Okay, so you had
because he can't lead.
So you had Brad Pitt at a 10, and I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Because of now you're talking about like marketability, acting, all that stuff.
Yeah, and Brad can you Pitt carry a movie?
Yes,
like
100%.
For Jared Leto's proven he can't carry a movie.
Yes, I'm with you now. So 10 for Brad Pitt. I would agree Jared is a 5 in terms of body of work, ROI, but he's a great actor. He's outstanding in a supporting role.
Yeah. Okay.
And Channing we gave a 2 or
Channing got a -1.
Oh yeah. Poor Channing. All right. You got to keep this, we got to track these. You know what? I just thought about this. The thumbnail, on TikTok and stuff.
Yeah.
And you know how some people, they rate their thumbnails. You should just do the Ben head, and it would be like an invisible head. I don't know how you can make that for Channing.
If it's invisible, nobody can see it.
No, maybe just like a watermark of a head.
Oh.
Right?
That's on the t-shirt, folks. I got the watermark of Ben Affleck's head on the front, and then the Ben Affleck on the back. But I did do the little watermark head on the front.
See, I know that's the logo.
Yeah.
But a more universal logo, just in my opinion, would have been, I like the background and everything, but just kind of have a silhouette of a guy and then, or gal, or just the actor, and then a question mark. Because you never know. Yeah,
you never know who's next. You never know who's next under the gun.
Speaking of gun, remember
stupid buttons.
That conversation we had about movie killers. Can we extend that to like directors and producers?
We're gonna have to. We're gonna absolutely have to, because they're gonna have to fit into the perfect model of who's gonna be able to carry these movies as we start casting and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's made money. Your boy Gunn. I am just not a fan of his. To me, he wrecks Superman. He absolutely wrecked. And there's another one coming out, like I think next year. Yeah,
the Supergirl, Girl of Tomorrow, or some crazy name.
We got to talk about that. Yeah. I mean, I don't care if it's not in line with a movie. I think it is. I think it's a franchise killer. I bet you'll see. I wonder how much Superman made.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Like everybody's like, you're going to run out of material focusing on actors, but you got movies, you got genre, you got like DC versus Marvel, you got director and casting directors and producers. Like it's an endless world of nonsense that goes on in Hollywood. It's an endless supply of material.
Yeah, so, I mean,
I had somebody today ask me, like, out of this podcast, like, what is your ultimate goal? And I said, you know what? Mark is only about the money. Mark wants to do this. He wants to get rich. He wants to have a fancy car. He wants to date the Russian supermodel. I forget what her name is. Like, that's his goal. Sorry, Cam. Like, that's his goal. I want to make a movie and let somebody go in and say, you know what, dumbass, put your money where your mouth is. You're talking a lot of shit. Let's see what you can do. And let me pick everything.
Wait, that's your goal?
Yeah.
Some studio to pick you up to say, hey, you know what? You have zero cinematic production experience. Let's giddy up. Let's produce this film.
Yeah, because you know what? I'll tell you, some jackass thought Jared Leto was going to carry a lot of stuff, and they invested a lot of money in Tron Ares, Haunted Mansion, Morbius, Blade Runner, Mr. Nobody. Like, these guys invested a lot of money in this guy. How can I do any worse?
Yeah.
How can I? Mr. Nobody had a budget of $47 million. Global gross, 2. I can do worse than losing $45 million. Give me a $10 million budget. I can only lose 10.
Oh, real quick. When you were talking about your movie ball blueprint scenario.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go with, and you did actually. You went with a list of producers and directors that have that kind of blueprint. But in the beginning of his career, director-wise, Quentin Tarantino, remember?
No, he's a nut job. Like, I love Quentin Tarantino, and I love Quentin Tarantino movies, but I don't want to fight him for creative.
No, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm bringing him up as an example. Like, his first hit was Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
Right? That budget was nothing. I don't even know how he got those actors on board, but that made a ton of money. Actually, let me look it up. I'm saying that. I mean, I'm thinking it made a lot of money, but how much did it actually make?
Well, it's a cult classic, right? So from a cult perspective, it definitely made a lot of money. I mean, it's still going. Most nights you can find it somewhere on TV.
Oh God, I was way off. So Reservoir Dogs made $3 million worldwide against a $1.2 million budget.
Yeah, but that's box office release. It was an independent film that came in that had very, very limited release, very limited marketing. I guarantee you, aftermarket with streaming, everything else that went along with it, that thing is more than paid itself off for, like, what'd you say, $1 million budget?
Yes, but that budget was basically, it had to be all salary because it was shot in that one room.
Yeah,
like all of it.
Yeah, well, that seems to be following the movie ball theory of keep the.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, because it kind of jarred my memory. I was like, oh yeah, I remember. Well, I wonder how much Pulp Fiction made compared to how much they.
Probably the same, very low budget with
a lot of. Yeah, so Pulp Fiction grossed over 213 worldwide against how much? How much do you think that budget was for Pulp Fiction?
$8 million.
Dude, right on.
Is that
$8
what it was?
million budget.
See, hear me, Hollywood. Guy knows what he's talking about. Give me the movie.
Wow.
Trisha Wood. That's going to be my casting director. I'm going with Trisha.
Yeah.
Trisha Wood. Putting her on the list right now.
All right. So, what was your final thoughts on Jared?
We're going to give him a 5.
Okay.
We're going to put him on the chart on the Head-O-Meter at a 5. Good actor, good supporting role. Just can't carry a movie. You know, he's got the cushion in his pocket, so if he makes money, he doesn't really care because he's got Robinhood and Uber sitting there with Reddit. And then if he gets bored, he goes and tours with Valerie Kaufman.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the guy's doing okay.
Yeah, we got to do a special cast on who the legit box office actors are. Like the top 3.
This is movie killers, not movie.
I know, but I get it. But I'm just saying it would be nice to do a special episode, you know, kind of a one-off.
Yeah.
Because I'd be curious.
So, I mean, to summarize, we're going to give him a 5. Jared Leto, good actor, supporting, can't carry a movie, therefore he falls in movie killer. And if you guys remember, I think from episode 2 or 3, we were really going to focus on trying to cut the episodes down, make them a little shorter. We get a lot of feedback, 30, 40 minutes, and we're at an hour 5. So we are well within our margins of looking to shorten our broadcast. Any closing remarks? And I'll close us out with 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah, good one.
So what do you got?
No, it doesn't matter. Like ROI doesn't care if you're good looking and you're a vampire, you're 55 and you look 25. It doesn't care if you won an Oscar. It doesn't care. Like you would think that is the attributes for a successful movie. Doesn't matter. It
just want somebody that can get on base.
Just need somebody to get your ass on first base, man.
Yeah, that's it. All right. And hope everybody appreciated episode 4. We're going to close this out. We're going to bring it back next week. And Movie Killers podcast on Amazon, Spotify, all your favorite streaming services, YouTube, mkpcast.com is the website. And go to the Facebook group, Movie Killers Podcast Facebook group. Let's hear what you got to say. You know, just like Jared Leto always says.
Oh, calm it, daddy.
Oh, boy, that's just creepy.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.